Gant. It's always good to talk to you, man. I know you grinding. How old are you, by the way, Vince?
I just turned 34.
That's right. You
34.
told me that earlier today. Happy belated birthday, brother.
Yeah. At this point, I'm
Yeah,
about to
brother.
start from this year on. I'm gonna start deducting years.
What you mean?
Every time somebody asks me every time somebody asks me from this point on, like now I'm 34. Next year I'll be 33.
What you gonna do that for?
Oh no, man. Because I guess I feel like when I was 16, 17, 18, I felt like 34, 35. That's kind of old.
It's so weird when you're younger.
Everybody
You
keeps
think
telling me the
40.
same thing. Oh, you getting older?
People think 40 is old. I never forget reading Napoleon Hill's book. He talks about a man usually doesn't get successful till he hits 40. And I didn't believe that. I thought it was like 25, 20. I thought that was old.
That's great news for me. And I know that though, because you really, as a man, we really don't hit our prime physically until around 34, 35. And then, as far as maturing business wise and all that, yeah, around 40.
Yeah, so for you, your future is so bright because you're already successful, man. I can't wait to see your 40s, man. You're gonna be on another level, brother.
Hanging around folks like you, man.
That's cool. What's going on, Roundup, homies? Come on in. We got 30 people on here now, here to hear what thus saith Vince Gant. So today I'm going to be your pilot. I am Chris Haskins. My mission and my ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Today we're going to skew towards real estate investing. And I have the honor to hang out with my good friend Vince Gant. What's going on, my buddy?
Not much, man. Appreciate you inviting me on.
Yep.
Always good to be hanging out with my boy Chris.
Yeah, man. I've been seeing you around since what, 2000, what, 14?
Nah, probably like 2012, 13, somewhere in there.
Well, yep.
A
You're a
little before.
go-getter.
Yeah.
You're a go-getter, brother. So if anybody needs to follow a somebody that's a grinder, a hustler regarding entrepreneurial spirit, Vince Gant is going to be your man. The guy, young entrepreneur, really setting this real estate world on fire. And thank you for being with us tonight.
Uh,
So, Roundup homies, I've been getting a million emails from you about buying houses subject to. I buy them all the time subject to. However, I have never dealt with a realtor. If you say realtor, I'm going to come for you. The word is realtor. There's no A in between the L and the T.
realtor.
If you, so we use realtors. Vince Gant is a real estate investor, entrepreneur, and he's a realtor, right? He's a real estate agent. So he
Yeah,
is mastered.
correct. I'm an agent. Go ahead.
Your agent, right? So he's
All right.
mastered the art of working with agents. Being one, I've seen the man come in and out of rooms, doing deals with without realtors, wholesaling, sub to lease options, new construction, you name it. He's done it, right? So tonight we want to share with you buying houses subject to with realtors slash agents. I know I don't even get into that realtor agent thing. We'll just leave that alone. So Vince, give us your background, brother. Tell the roundup homies just a little bit about yourself, and then we're gonna get right into this thing and put questions in the chat, y'all.
Real quickly, just brief description of myself. I'm been in real estate since around 2012, 13, around the same time frame that I come across my guy Chris here. In that time frame, 12 years now,
Wow,
11
goes
years.
quick.
Well,
Goes
well,
quick.
about really only about 10 years now. I've wholesale several hundreds of deals. I've done some subject to stuff, quite a few subject to deals. Whether I took it over myself, subject to, or assigned a contract subject to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, been involved. We put up 3 new constructions during that time frame. Not a whole lot though. Definitely a licensed agent. Definitely more of an investor, than I am an agent. Working with like regular retail buyers, conventional buyers.
Tell us what that looks like, Vince, for people that don't understand. Somebody that's an agent that represents people that want to live in a house versus an agent that represents investors.
Right. When the majority of the stuff that you do is with, with working with investors, mainly you're gonna be dealing on the cash side with properties that are in as is condition. Means that the property is gonna close faster, the contracts are gonna be a lot easier, less, inspection periods and stuff like that. You will get a little less of a commission per deal because the purchase price of cash deals are typically going to be less than what retail buyers are paying for
Generally
them.
speaking.
But on the flip side, once you work that relationship with your investors, a lot of time you'll get the listings once the house is actually rehabbed and ready to put on the market. They'll call on you to put it on the market for them. But I mean, I really don't spend a lot of time working with regular retail owner occupants. I don't really do a whole lot of helping people get qualified or riding around to help them show houses or, come up with different CMA reports and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely a night and day difference. There's definitely some agents out there that do a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
But me, myself, I like to stay right there on the cash side.
Gotcha. And don't you do more deals for dealing with investors too? I'm thinking you're gonna
Yeah,
do 10 deals.
it's a lot easier. The majority of the houses that I represent, buyers that are investors. I really never even go into the house. I get the contractor's lockbox, send it to them. They go look at it, give me, we write up the contract. Everything is done electronically.
I love it.
Sometimes we even just look at pictures, and just buy based off of the pictures, So,
I love that, man. I love it.
yeah.
What would you say for people that are squeamish or scared to put a lockbox on an empty house and have other buyers go look at it? What can you help them get over that hurdle, Vince?
Man, that's an easy because honestly, me, I won't even put a property in the contract unless they allow me to put the lockbox on the door.
Mm.
It's a vacant house. What's the word? Somebody will go in there and steal the air out of it.
They might take my refrigerator. They're gonna take my stove, Vince, or my microwave, Vince. Help me.
I'm thinking about closing, man. I'm not thinking about all the other stuff that can small chance of happening. I'm thinking about realistically, we put this lockbox on this door, allow as many buyers as we can to go in and look at it, and one of them is going to put a contract on the property.
There you go.
I don't really think like that. That's scary talk, man. We don't do scary talk around here.
Thank you for saying that. Round up, homies. If you're scared or nervous, I've been saying this for years. I don't care if you steal the refrigerator. It's $500-$600. Somebody can get a new fridge.
Get another one.
Get another one. Get over it. Do not waste your time showing houses.
Nope.
We're not in the business of showing houses. We're in the business of buying and selling houses. Okay, so why does all this matter? This matters, right? Somebody says, Chris, why does this matter? This matters. It matters because we need to help our people get out of poverty. Help our people have more month at the end of their money, right? Have more. Have more money at the end of their month. We're looking to help our people get out of living check to check, and real estate is one way to do that. And not only that, creative financing and dealing with realtors is another way to do that, right? So we want you to have more money. So Vince, this crazy thing about subject to, what is it? And then we're going to say, why is it so important that we even figure that we might have to deal with a realtor?
Mm-hmm. All right. So what is subject to?
Yeah. What is subject to?
Shoot, I mean, in a nutshell, it's the easiest way to pretty much acquire a property without actually going to get the financing for it, because the financing is already in place. So for if it's somebody out there that wants to really buy a house and don't have any credit, or don't have the credit to qualify to buy the house, rather it's a house, single family, multifamily, even like commercial stuff, you can take over something subject to on the commercial side, can't you, Chris?
Absolutely. We do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. See, I never really done anything on the commercial side. But I was pretty certain. I just wanted to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the
Land.
the easiest way to acquire, property is, the concept is really simple. As an investor, you come in, and in most cases, you're gonna have to catch up delinquent mortgage payments on a property that's
Some
underwater.
cases. Some cases.
Yeah. There's gonna be some type of, catch, as to why you're getting the subject to and why they're willing to sign the mortgage over it, and why they instead of just selling the property outright. So in most cases it's because there's not a lot of equity in it. So you're pretty much taking over a property that doesn't have a lot of equity, but the monthly payment allows you to cash flow on it in some way
Gotcha.
or shape or
Shit, I
form.
bought them with equity, without equity,
Mhm.
distress. I bought one. I just bought one Friday. No distress, current on payments, $75,000 worth of equity. I'm agreeing with you that in most cases, but
Right,
that doesn't have to be though.
right. I got you. I guess it's like that for me because when I'm sending out my list and I'm making offers on stuff, I'm targeting those
That's what you're looking
yeah,
for.
yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at because I'm not really counting on the people with equity to give me a whole lot of feedback. But I see
Gotcha,
what you're saying.
gotcha. Most cases, you're right. I'm thinking. I'm kind of piggybacking on what you're saying. Most cases, yes, there's going to be some distress. So I'm going to get my Barron's book so people understand. This is subject to transaction is a circumstance in which a buyer takes title to a mortgaged piece of real property. You're taking title. You're the owner,
Mhm.
but is not personally liable for the payment of the amount due. The buyer, that's us, must make payments in order to keep the property. You make the property get foreclosed on. However, with default, only the buyer's equity in that property is lost. So there's nothing that goes on your credit, no tax returns, no bank qualifying, no appraisal, home inspection, none of that stuff that most people think they need to go through. Am I talking that right, Vince?
Exactly. Yep. I mean, you are the inspector. You are the appraiser. You are the bank approver. Whoever you want to be.
Underwriter.
Yeah, I'm everybody. So you do your walkthrough if you like the property. If you feel like you need to get a contractor, fine. If not, then hey, you approve everything.
I think a lot of us, I did a consultation yesterday. A lot of us with that were employees, sometimes Vince, are looking for approval from somebody because we've been raised through the public school system and then we went to college and then we got a job. Do you see a lot of that, Vince? They're like looking for approval. Even for me, for my first subject too, I'm like, do I have to ask anybody anything? I mean, who do I ask to do this?
Um, I mean, yeah, you definitely, as far as like a newer investor just jumping into subject twos, yeah, you definitely see, they kind of, it's almost like it's kind of unreal,
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's kind of like, all right, is that all?
That's how I was.
Yeah,
When I walked out of closing, I'm like, damn, ain't nobody. I just bought a.
yeah,
Hey, everybody! I just bought a house. I mean, it was almost like no one even cared. I'm like, okay, who
yeah,
cares?
right.
Then
Yeah,
this is that how you felt? Tell me about your first one, Vince.
man, it's crazy. Just kind of like speaking on that subject, I've actually had people, when I first learned about subject to, I was actually able to close a couple of deals. Like I was like head over heels for it, So I was telling everybody,
Oh
I'm,
yeah, watch out on that.
even not even my investor friends, just people, my regular friends, not even real estate. I'm like, look, man, if you want to buy a house, you need to go try to find some subject to. And
Oh
I'm
boy,
explaining the whole scenario, the whole concept to them and everything. And then
boy.
after almost nearly every time that I explained, they always said, "Man, that just sound illegal." You get what I'm saying? That don't even sound right.
That
So
daggone Vince, man. He. I don't know about Vince.
yeah. So talk about approval. They was looking. They wanted to go the super traditional route. They wanted to go find the property that they got to get all qualified for and put on they credit for the next 30 years. I was
We're
trying to help.
laughing. We're laughing with love,
Yeah.
not with sarcasm, guys. We're laughing with love. Round up. If you enjoyed that little bit of insider joke there, give us a like, thumbs up. My parents to this day. You've been to my house, Vince. I bought it subject to my
Yeah.
parents to this day. Chris is stealing houses from people.
Right.
I'm like, I paid the lady 10 grand. I'm like, they don't
Yeah.
even.
Title is in my name. I control title. What do you mean? They just don't get it.
Yeah, leave them alone. And we got y'all. I'm telling you, you start talking this stuff. I promise. I did the same thing. I used to be a board of our local RIA. I started talking this stuff. They tried to bury me. They were like, Chris, no, we'll be talking that stuff.
Yeah, honestly though, a lot of them, some investors, some agents don't know what subject to is.
Yeah.
I tried to set a deal up last week for one of my investors where the
Are you trying to set the deal up for them?
yeah, because well, it came to me as a subject to deal, but the numbers on it was like, nah, this ain't no long term subject to.
Yeah.
But it was the numbers was there where it was a good deal for an investor to come in and take it over subject to,
Uh-huh.
catch up the back payments, put the money in it to rehab, and then turn around and sell it. But like my guy was like, why don't I just pay cash for it? I was like, oh, you can go ahead. You get what I'm saying? But I was trying to make the deal sweet for you to where you didn't have to go get the money to acquire it. All you doing is bringing the money to catch it up and to
Oh
rehab
my
it. You get what
Lord.
I'm saying? Well,
So
because he
good.
couldn't fully wrap his mind around taking over a property subject to. He'd rather just have all his total of $140,000 cash out there when it could have just been a total of about 50. You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable. You know what? All we can do at the end of the day, man, Napoleon Hill says, man, you got to move on. It's just pitiful, but you got to move on. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
If you rather do it like that. So tonight we want to show you the easy way to get into real estate. We got 40 people on here, Vince. We buy them off market sub to, but what is so important about us? And what's so important about dealing with a realtor in a subject to transaction?
Um, to me, the majority of properties that are like that are listed, of course, are listed with real estate agents. So, you know, if you market and make enough offers to those properties, then subject to offers, you will get something. So to me, it's important, to understand how to, navigate and how to make offers with realtors, because if not, then you cut yourself off to a big section of motivated sellers. Even though Chris, you say you hardly make any offers on the MLS, you know, um, that's totally fine. You do a whole hell of a lot of marketing too, don't you?
I do. I spend a lot of money too, like 7,000, 8,000 a month.
Yeah, you spend a lot. You spend a lot on sending out mail and stuff. Without a question,
All that
without a
stuff.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, Vince, I want my roundup homies to understand this is a skill that Vince has actually, I would say, did you go to training this, Vince, or did you kind of put this together? Because generally speaking, when I even start talking about creative financing with a realtor, I ain't finna listen to that. I don't want to hear that. If they ain't going to get a mortgage, home inspection, appraisal, I don't
Right.
want to hear it.
Right. That's
All right.
very true. Very true. And you still get not, as good as I've gotten, as many offers as I've made, you still get a lot of agents who, because of their lack of knowledge or unwillingness to try to understand, or don't, not wanting to present an offer, is not a straight conventional standard offer.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely have, that your fair share of offers that just are dead offers. Um, but like one of the things is you just learn to look at certain characteristics and certain signs that say, hey, this is probably a good property to make a subject to offer on. Then you learn to do other things like, you know, um,
Let's get to that. Let's get to that. So the first thing, roundup. If you're just joining us, I'm hanging out with my man Vince Gant tonight. We're talking about dealing with realtors, real estate agents, and making subject to offers. Okay. I do have, if you care to support the Roundup channel, there's a little button right down there. It says join. It's for busy professionals and entrepreneurs that just want to get their questions answered first so they can move on, right? Some people, it's a little something extra, right? It will cost you nothing but a large Starbucks coffee a month to support the Roundup network. I appreciate all of my members. I see we have a few on here tonight. Monica, thank you so much for being one of our members. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. So the first thing to keep in mind when we're making subject to offers with real estate agents is the property, or is it the agent, Vince? Walk me step by step. What are we look in our mind? What are we thinking first? Are we looking for the numbers, mortgages, and all that stuff on the property, and then the realtor? Where are we at first?
oh man, simultaneously, it's kind of both, to be honest with you, but not so much. You're looking more so at the property than the agent, because the reason I say simultaneously kind of both is because in the Hampton Roads area or whatever area that you're in, you will recognize that certain agents are just like not even worth making an offer on certain properties. You get what I'm
All right.
saying?
I'm gonna put
So when you
certain.
see that, agent that's just like that agent that's super defiant and just know everything, and you just kind of know,
What's
like,
up? I'm listening.
you just kind of know, it's probably not worth putting an offer in
Doing
on.
a waste of time.
But it is some properties where if I really look at it and I'm like, man, I don't care. I really know the agent is, not the easiest to work with, but the looking at the details, the breakdown of the property, just screaming, subject to, I'm still gonna write it up if it's just so overwhelmingly just jumping out at me.
So I'll
But
put
if it's,
one and one. So this is one and one. Certain agents
I would
and
put
certain
number one, I would say property, and then number two, certain agents, like one A and one B.
Okay, one A, one B. We'll put specific properties.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I understand this. This roundup real estate is a people business. This is a people business. I don't care every step of the way. Every house I bought, somebody had to sign the sales contract. Every loan I've ever got, somebody had to sign off on the loan. Every home inspection, every termite inspection, every appraisal, every home report, every step of the way, a person has to approve something. Architect, builder, tile guy, window, everything's right. So when he says certain agents, Vince is what I'm hearing you say, Vince, is that person or the personality of that agent.
Yeah, just from past experience, some,
Gotcha.
you know,
Okay, cool. So I understand that one. Specific properties. Tell me what puts up your spidey sense on the specific property, Vince.
I mean, when it's listed on the MLS, there's a ton of information that's gonna be on it. So I automatically like to see, if it's a short sale, of course it's not under contract. I'm interested in it. If it's a short sale that's been listed for like less than 60 days, then I'm interested. Maybe
Short
90.
sale.
Yeah. Um, a property that when you go into the tax records, that is active on the MLS, but when you go look in the tax records, it has a recent mortgage on it, to where you can kind of figure, because you can look at the in the tax records and see the amount of the mortgage that was taken out, when it was taken out, and a lot of times it'll even show you the interest rate, and rather it was a fixed or adjustable rate. So you can use that information, and you can actually even pull up, like, go on Google and just type in mortgage payoff calculator or something like that,
Mhm.
plug in those numbers, and it'll give you a roundabout idea of how much is left on the mortgage. Of course, it's not going to be exact because you don't know
You don't know.
what the interest, with the insurance and the taxes are on it. So um,
So we said
so
listed with recent mortgage. I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
exactly, with recent
Spidey
mortgage,
sense.
that you generally have an idea where it's not a whole lot of equity in it. And then I always
Stay
like
there
to
for a minute.
see.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let's just stay there for a minute. So my round up homies know listed. Let's see. I'm getting a ton of leads. Well, let me ask you, Vince. Are you getting more leads like that nowadays? All the people that got refinanced all these properties over the last 2 years need to get out.
Oh yeah, when they're calling because the property is
Oh,
listed and like, hey, we got our property for sale. We trying to, we just calling to see what we can, get from an investor. Yeah, definitely.
I'm getting a ton of people that bought their house over the last few years. Because remember, guys, we don't buy houses on market conditions. We buy houses on social issues. All right. So listed recent mortgage. That's a hot one there. Y'all give Vince a thumbs up for that. All right, Vince, what else?
Yeah, so right
Is that-
there, when you're looking at the mortgage information, again, you should, if it has the interest rate, the amount of the mortgage that was taken out, and the if it was fixed or adjustable, you should be able to calculate the monthly mortgage payment, which lets you know how much the monthly payment is. All right, so earlier, just a couple seconds ago, I was talking about the actual payoff.
Hmm.
What I'm talking about now is actually calculating how much you would be paying monthly, right? So you want to make sure that the monthly mortgage payoff, excuse me, payment is less than what you can rent it out for, or less than what the rents are in the area.
Gotcha.
So once you
Gotcha.
determine that, then you determine it's a good deal, and if you start looking into the agent remarks, anytime I see anything that says motivated seller, or anytime where you see a property that's been that was under contract and then a contract fell through, especially the ones where it happened more than once, you know,
Back on market.
back on the market. And then it's also a an option, that you can build into the criteria on the MLS where you can pull up properties where people are willing to do an assumption. Now, there's not going to be a whole lot of those. You might pull up like maybe 4 or 5 a month, but those are people who have loans where a lot of them are VA loans where they're willing to say, hey, look, instead of selling the property right out, I'm willing to find somebody that's willing to just totally assume the loan. Now, since subject twos are not like assumptions, but similar to assumptions, then I think that's a great time to present that offer.
Gotcha. I like that. Short sales listed with recent mortgage, and we got to do our due diligence on the mortgage because you ain't gonna be cash flowing no $350,000 mortgage on $1,000 rent area.
Right.
Look at the agent remarks. Back on the market. Assumable loans. It's good stuff. Anything else you want to put on specific properties, Vince? Before we move on.
Um, I mean, that's just a general idea,
Yeah.
outline.
This is a beast right here, listed with recent mortgage. I think the majority of my sub two deals have been these
Yeah.
recent mortgage. Because
Reach the
what's
mortgage.
crazy is if you do it now, that mortgage could be a year and a half old. You still could have 50,000 of equity based on the way the market went crazy over the last few years.
Yeah, that's true. If you pick up something where 2008 to 2019 or maybe in 2020, yeah.
I did. We doing it. So
Yeah. Especially if it's a situation where they didn't just buy the house. If it's a situation where they've been living in the house and then they just took out some money but didn't take out all the money on it.
oh,
They just took,
refi, you mean? Refi,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah, exactly. Like it did like a cash out refi where they didn't actually take out all the money. They just took out a decent amount of money.
I see. Yeah, there's probably what I'm thinking about their mentality. They're sick of real estate transactions because a refinance is a big headache, a lot of paperwork.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I like that, Vince. Okay, cool. So we know who to deal with here. Specific properties. What our checklist. So boom. What's in your mind? What's your next move?
Well, I mean, at this point, if it's a short sale, you try to have an idea. And generally, you want to have an idea of how long it's been listed. You don't want to make any offers on a lot of properties. A lot of short sales has been listed for a long time because that means that mortgage payment has been delinquent for that long, and that's just
Mhm.
more money that you got to come up with up front.
So we're thinking here 90 days, short sale, 90 days or less. Is that what you're
Yeah,
thinking?
yeah, 90 days. Like 60 days, 60 to 90, somewhere in there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, at that point, once I determine I like it, I write an offer up, send it over to the agent.
So all right. We got to break down the moving parts on that, Vince.
Mhm.
You do this every day. We don't. When you say make an offer, what does that look like?
Oh, your arraigned contract or contract, whatever agents are using in your area, you're gonna need to get a copy of that. Um, I doubt that it's gonna be made to make a subject to offer on. Those contracts are typically made for like to make a conventional offer on, or and maybe even like an assumption, or pretty much that's it really. So you kind of have to write some of your own stuff in there,
Okay.
cross some stuff out, make it fit. At the end of the day, a legally binding contract is simply something that two people agree to. So
Gotcha.
as long as the other party understand what your offer is, then it's definitely a valid contract.
So I got to pull it out of you. When you're writing that offer down, Vince, is it something you're putting on the last page, or are you putting it in additional comments so that the buyer's agent or the selling agent knows what your intentions are? Tell me about that.
Right. Okay. So that when they get the offer, they know that this is a subject to offer.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. Right. So
You do
on
this
a
so
certain
much
part
you
of
don't even think about it.
it, on it, because I actually got a template of the contract already spelled out where I just go through and change like the address
Oh,
and a
you
couple
probably
of
don't
things, and I
even
just
know.
send it off.
You don't even
Yeah.
remember
No,
what
but in
it
my
says because
contract,
you don't even.
I spell it out where it says, this is not an assumption contract. This is
Okay.
an offer. This is an offer to take over mortgage payments and title to the property. Mortgage will remain, I say something like finance remains in place in name of current seller, or something like that.
Wow, that's pretty cut and dry right there, Vince.
Yeah.
Offer
And
to
on
take
like
over mortgage payments. Go ahead.
the purchase price part where it says the purchase price, you spell out the exact amount owed on the mortgage. You just spell that out in words and plain letters, plain wording.
Exact amount owed
Because
on
you don't know, because of course you're making an offer before you have any information on the mortgage owed. You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you don't know the purchase price when the attorney is drawn, and when the attorney finally puts all the closing paperwork together. If you look at the HUD statement, the purchase price is always the mortgage, the balance owed on the mortgage.
Principal
So
balance.
yeah, principal balance owed. But of course, you don't know that up front while you make an offer, so you just got to write that out.
Exact amount. Now, Vince, what about what if? How are you making these offers? Let's say the seller owes 250, and they're asking when it's listed. Is it usually close to what you think the balance is and what the mortgage? I mean, what they're asking? I'm just trying to get in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm usually pretty good with figuring out how much the remaining balance owed on the property, having a roundabout idea. You
Well, we
know,
got to know what they want, though. I mean, are they looking for 10 grand? Have you talked to the realtor, the selling realtor, to say, look, do they want 10 grand, 5 grand? Because sometimes they might want some money in their pocket.
right? Good question. It all depends. Like when I sit down and decide I'm just gonna make offers, a bunch of subject to offers,
Hmm.
then I usually don't find that part out until after I make the offer. Now, a lot of times, like I make a lot of cash offers also, right?
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times, once I make a cash offer and it gets rejected because the agent will tell me, "Hey, look, the seller owes too much on the property to take that low cash offer."
Hmm.
And at that point, that's when I transition and say, "Well, look, how about I offer them? How about I take over the mortgage payment subject too?" You get what I'm saying? Now, at
Hmm.
that point, yeah, I do ask, "Hey, how much do they want to walk away from closing with?" And then we can work our subject to offer around that.
Repeat that, Vince. You ask what? I want y'all to get this, man. Vince dropping some nuggets. You ask him, what is the question you ask to determine where the seller's head is?
I asked, "Hey, look, if your seller was to get a full price offer on their property, how much would they be walking away from closing with?" The agent may say at that number he's gonna walk away with $10,000. But we
That's
say, "Hey,
gold.
look, how about this? How about I offer him 10,000? I put 10,000 in his pocket, and then in turn I take over the mortgage payments." We say your seller, and then you can and then at that point you might have to be a little bit of a salesman and say, "Hey, look, this property been listed for a long time. Apparently, you had a whole bunch of other offers fall through. With my offer, I'm like we had said earlier. With my offer, I am the inspector. I'm the appraiser. I'm the final approver. So, I just need to come in and look at it. It's a simple process, and we can close it out in 2 weeks."
Y'all hear that? How much does your seller want at closing? It's so crazy how you can that's why I love the English language. You can rephrase words so much as opposed to saying how much money do you need to sell the house for? How
Right.
much money do you need in your pocket? Because
At
they
close.
know at closing, they know what they're looking to get because they already know what they owe.
Hmm.
They know what they owe. So you're testing the waters with that cash offer before you do the sub two offer. Sometimes, Vince, I'm asking.
Yeah, well, I'm not necessarily testing the water. I'm really making a cash offer, but then, like
You are.
again, once it gets presented, the agent to get back to me and tell me it's not gonna work because they owe too much on it. So at that
Gotcha.
point, that's when I transition over.
I'm loving it, man. Round up. Go ahead, Vince. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's also worked, the vice versa. A couple times I made subject to offer. They like, hey, they don't owe hardly anything on it. That mortgage has been paid off. The mortgage that I'm seeing in the tax records, they've been making double payments and stuff like that on it. So
Not there. Yeah.
yeah, it's not there. So they like, I'm like, okay, let me throw my cash offer out there.
Yeah. Okay. So round up on what once again, you can't do a subject to deal if there's no mortgage. Okay. That's just how it works.
They put somebody signing the house over to you for free. Nobody go do that.
I have yet to get a yeah, I ain't
Yeah,
got one of them
that
yet.
happened. Trust and believe. As soon as it happened, I'm making a whole podcast about it.
Roundup, if you're just joining us, I'm with Vince. We're talking about doing subject to deals with real estate agents. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, share this content with other people that need to understand creative financing so they can get into a house and stop renting if you're still renting, or build your first rental portfolio. Okay, get your questions in. We're gonna come to questions in a minute. Somebody's doing one now with a realtor. That's cool, Gary. Thank you. Eugene says he's glad that we're doing this topic. You're welcome, Eugene. Monica's coming in from Atlanta. Cool, cool. Lakeisha, realtors are held to a different standard established by the National Association of Oh, okay, not agents. Gotcha.
Man, she
Are
been watching
you?
commercials. You seen the commercial?
What does it say?
Man, the Realtor Association have put a whole commercial out there, pretty much making it like as if like realtors just are on a different level than regular agents. They like know the difference if you're dealing with a realtor or an agent. I'm like, man,
Oh,
all these people out here food.
Lord have mercy. Carmen wants to know, Vince, how would the real estate agent get paid? That is a phenomenal question. Thank you for putting that in there, Carmen.
I mean, a lot of times you end up paying it, to be honest with you, as the buyer, because the more that you can pitch it that the seller is not going to have to come to closing with anything, or they're going to walk away with money, then most likely you'll end up having to pay the agent involved. But good thing is I never really pay like 3% or anything. I usually pay like a flat fee, $1,000, you know, $1,500 or something like that. Because you gotta realize that on short sales, agents that sell short sales, what do they usually get on the short sale, Chris?
Oh, to represent the sellers?
Yeah, like
I
one
thought they
percent or
got
something
three.
like that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not. I'm usually paying 3%. I thought.
Nah, if you really look, a lot of these short sales, because the bank is taking a cut, they like, they the ones who are really paying
That's true.
the commission. And on some
I've
repos,
seen too.
they're not paying full 6%. They like it's 1 and 1. I done seen. So I mean, well, especially when the market was just saturated with short sales, they weren't paying full 6%.
Hmm. I have seen two, but all right. So you got that, Carmen. Carmen, their agent fee. I'm honored to pay that fee if I'm buying a house
Right.
subject to no credit. None of that stuff. I'm getting a house. All I gotta do is write a few $1,000 check. I'm happy. I'm happy to do that, Vince.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, me too. More than happy to. Especially because you want the agent to get paid, and you want them to keep bringing you deals.
There you go. There you
How
go.
much you usually pay, Chris?
It all depends what they want. 2 grand. I mean, I think 2 grand standard. If I'm like, man, here you go. I'm happy. I'm like, I got a house,
Yeah,
but I,
and they
I have
like it
yet.
because it's like
Go ahead.
they like it because it's a quick process. You know what I mean? 2 weeks,
Done.
week. They don't got
Over.
to sign a bunch of addendums and get all this paperwork run back and forth. Yep.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I have yet to do a sub two with an agent. I mean, I've done all type of deals where the house was listed and then they took it off. Because it was listed and they still wanted to deal with us directly. I paid that, but I have yet to deal with a sub two through an agent, Vince. That's why I had you on here.
Hmm.
Giovanni, how do you create the terms to offer subject to as an exit strategy? What are the things to consider in order to determine a win-win terms offer?
Hold on, let me look at this one. How do you create a term?
I'm presuming they're talking to how do you create the terms when you're buying, because we do not sell sub two. We don't sell sub two.
Yeah, the exit strategy is always to rent it out or seller finance it to somebody else or
Lease option it out.
lease option it out or Airbnb.
Yeah, there you go.
Go the
So
hospitality route.
that is the terms. Yeah, you decide whatever it is as an exit strategy. You do whatever you want. You own the house.
Yeah.
How do you present the offer? We did that already. We went over that. That's what we're cutting. Hey, one of our members here. What's up, C Rose? How you doing, brother? Yeah, get those likes up, y'all. Eugene wants to know, Vince, do you require a POF, proof of funds letter? How would you handle that? Every agent I deal with asks me for that.
Oh, of course, for sure. Get you a nice proof of funds letter. Nice, some decent numbers on there.
Well, what would you need the proof of funds letter when you're taking over sub two, Vince? Other than if you have to give the seller some money.
Well, they really want to see that you are financially able to you want to build confidence that you're able to carry this note. That you're
I
able.
got it.
You want to let them. You want to make it look like, hey, look, I'm the real estate expert. I specialize in helping sellers avoid foreclosure and short sales. I specialize in taking over mortgages. You get what I'm saying. So
Gotcha.
and when you're dealing with agents and making offers, that proof of funds letter is always going to be involved. So you want the agent when they call the seller to present the offer. You want them to say, hey, look, I got an offer here from an investor guy. It seems like this is what he does versus you want them to say, hey, look, I got this offer. I'm not sure, what's going on with it, but it
Gotcha.
looks like
Gotcha.
he's trying to
Gotcha.
do some type of stuff where he wants you to sign over the title. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Uh-huh.
you get what I'm saying? So you
Somebody
want
that's bankable.
yeah, exactly. You want the agent to
Okay.
be happy and excited to present that offer.
Kwame wants to know, how do you even find a listing agent that even knows the dynamics of how a sub two is structured? That's a good one, Vince.
That's a good question, bruh. You're gonna find yourself being an educator.
Oh
You just got to
Lord.
get out there and make offers. And part of my initial email when I'm dealing with agents where I know that I've had no type of communication with in the past, and that
How does that look, Vince? You explain that. You got a new property. Well, you don't know if they know. Well, you're presuming. Do you presume they don't know at the beginning?
I kind of do in an email that I send over. I put a quick little 2 to 3 sentence email together where it says something like, "Hello, Mr. Agent, Mrs. Agent, please present my offer attached. This is an offer to offer your seller, X amount of dollars or whatever case, offer to catch up your seller's mortgage payments in exchange for title." You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Feel free to give me a call if you have any questions prior to signing. You
Gotcha.
understand?
Gotcha.
And then a lot of times I'll call the agent too and explain everything. Because I want to make sure that once they present the offer, that it gets presented unbiasedly and they know exactly what's going on.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I can only imagine those conversations, Vince. You
Oh
you
yeah,
should record some of those, brother.
I can start me a whole YouTube channel.
I don't have the patience. I'm like, I'd rather not. I admire you for even you're educating these professionals, man. And I can only imagine, Vince, that it's gotta be cumbersome.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely find yourself frustrated sometimes because you got some know-it-alls, some agents that've been out there forever and
I've been
they
doing
learn,
this, doing it.
yeah, they learn nothing new in years. And really, this is something that's been around forever. It's just we're in the information era, so
Mhm.
internet and stuff like that, and everybody is all this stuff is no longer like secret. Everybody has access to it. So
Getting revealed now. Round up, get your questions in for Vince. We're talking about making offers through the real estate agent subject to creative financing. All right. Don, don't short sales Don Cavi. Do short sales have to be sold for the full reduced price that was negotiated with the bank? How are you doing a short sale subject to, Vince? This makes no sense to me.
well, that's the thing. It's not actually a short sale. We're targeting short sales properties that are listed as short sales.
There you
And
go.
then we're turning around and we're turning them into subject to deals. A short sale that's listed is only listed as a short sale. The way it works is, it's up to you and your agent, to a seller and their agent, to determine that a property is a good candidate for a short sale.
Yeah, it's only a short sale. Okay.
Contract.
Oh,
They
you
take that
broken
to
up.
the bank
You broke up, Vince.
and show them
Rewind.
like,
Oh shoot, I'm losing
all
Vince.
right, me.
I'm
Am I
losing you.
clear?
What you doing? You moving?
Are
You
you losing?
rewind a
Hold
little.
on.
Yeah. Get your questions in for Vince, y'all. Hit that like button. Anybody wants to join, there's a join button right down there. Get your questions answered first. See Rose, you next. Vince?
All right.
Nope, I ain't got him yet.
Yeah. Am I here?
Round up, if you're just joining us, we're hanging out with my man Vince, going over working with realtors, real estate agents, and doing subject to. Man, it's a deep topic. 60 people on here. I'm so excited to bring this to you because I have never done this myself. Vince is froze. Let's see if we can get him back on here. And listen, round up. Don't forget, keep forgetting to do that real quick. Make sure you are subscribed, and below there's a link in the video description to join our email list. Right. So Monday, I finally got an appraiser. Finally got an appraiser to come on here, y'all. He's going to be coming on talking about how he evaluates and how he goes in and determines the value of real estate. You're going to be able to ask a real appraiser, because don't forget, most of the time when we have appraisals, the appraiser never wants to talk to you when you're the seller. When you're the seller, you get an appraiser back, you get an appraisal back, and the number comes in, and you're like, "What the heck is this?" So now Jimmy is going to come on Monday at 2. So there's a link in the video description. Make sure you are on our email list. Join our email list. Is right here. So you won't miss any future trainings. I got an appraiser finally, after years of asking how many dozens of appraisers to come on. I finally got one that will come and spill the beans on appraisals. So make sure you're joining us on Monday. Vince, you back with us?
Hey, Chris, can you see me?
I see you. You good?
I think so. Can you see me?
You good?
All right, cool.
So we were talking about
All right, so
short sale. Go ahead.
bring that question back up. Yeah, he
Yep.
was saying, don't
That's a
short
good
sales
point.
have to be sold for the full reduced price
That's a good point.
that was negotiated with the bank? If so, how can you
That's a
sub
good
to
point.
it?
That's a good point.
It's
You're targeting the short sale.
You're targeting a short sale. That means at that point, the seller is no longer going through with the short sale process with the bank. Instead, they're saying, hey, okay, instead of going to the bank to get them to forgive a portion of the, instead of going to the bank to try to persuade and convince them to allow me to sell this property for less than what's owed on it, I'm just going to go ahead and sign the title over to this guy over here, allow him to catch up the mortgage payments if there's any back payments, and he'll be responsible for the payments from here on out. So at that point, they're saying, hey, bank, never mind about the short sale. I'm gonna go over here and do a deal with this investor guy here.
Sweet. And a lot of times, the short sale, the lender won't come down to the price that the seller needs or whatever the price is.
Exactly. Because when you see a property listed as a short sale, all that is a good guess by the agent and the
Yep.
seller of what the bank will approve to reduce the price to. It's not you really don't know until you get a buyer that's willing to make an offer at that price, sign a contract, and then you submit that contract, and then your hardships and the reason why they should take a reduction, you submit that over to the bank. So a property, for instance, might be listed on the MLS for $200,000 as a short sale, and somebody puts a contract on it, and then y'all send everything over to the bank, and the bank is like, "No, we won't take no less than 225." You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you might have, you wasted all that time.
You don't know. You just don't know. That's
Never know.
what you're just waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Because once that short sale approval letter comes in and you can't do a deal at that number, that's when you can I need to ask you, is that where you can kind of present your sub 2 takeover payments deal?
I mean, I definitely like
Or
to
either
talk.
way?
I definitely like to target the ones who had the short sales who had contracts fell through because the bank didn't approve it. They're definitely a lot easier.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Um, but yeah,
C Rose, do agents require proof of funds before they work with an investor on a subject too? I think we
oh
touched
yeah,
a little bit here.
yeah, they definitely. We just kind of touched on that. They definitely a must that you send that proof of funds letter. And one little nugget, man, that I like to give like other investors, like especially newer wholesalers or newer investors who might not really have that legitimate proof of funds letter. If you find you a good solid cash buyer and get a copy of their proof of funds letter and let them know that, hey, I'll be making offers and I like to have a strong proof of funds letter, to submit my offers, to use to submit my offers, and you just let them know, hey, I'll have you listed as the lender just in case somebody calls and wants to verify a few things.
Yep. I don't mind doing that for guys, especially if they're going to bring me the deal. I mean, you could use my bank statements to make an offer. It's almost like you're making an offer for me.
Exactly. Yep.
Good questions, C Rose. Let's just see here. Nails B, thanks for the topic. I'm living at a building that was put up for sale. Okay. Owner's desperate, but I'm not sure if I should approach her with this. The building needs work. I'm not sure. Need a little more details on that one, Nails. Facebook user, I don't know who that is. Do you provide a document?
Find out. Find how much they want. She want to sell it. The builder owner want to sell it for, and see how much is on it and what kind of condition is in, stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't know what Nell's bankability is. I don't know how much work it needs. I would hate for them to go in. It might need $100,000 worth of repair. Need a little more data on that one.
Yeah.
You go in there and get it under contract and try to buy it, then you find out it's got structural damage. I don't know. Do you provide documents providing cover to the agents? I know Bill uses legal opinion for these agents so that they don't run into issues. Is that necessary? What does that mean, Vince?
I'm not fully understanding this question. Do you provide a document providing cover to the agent?
I don't know.
What do they mean by that? I know. Cool.
Facebook user, I don't know who that is. Be a little bit more detailed with that question. Jarian, what's the best way to find these realtors willing to do creative fight strategies? Every agent always, let's say generally speaking, seems to be anti-creative. And you're right. You're right. I think we went over that earlier, Vince. Somebody asked that same question.
You gotta, as far as finding an agent. I think he's asking, how does he find the agent that's willing to make these multiple offers for him?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, you really got to shop around for that. Um, it's really helpful if you already done a couple of deals, because then you'd be dealing with some people who know you're serious. Um, but yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, you would just want to get super knowledgeable on it and go find you an agent and let them know, hey, look, I'll create a template, I'll make all the offers, I'll fill out everything. All you got to do is, send it over, hit send, and I'll be responsible for packaging the offer and making all the follow up phone calls and stuff like that.
It sounds like you want to give the agent as little to do as possible, Vince.
Exactly. But you definitely want them to understand what you're doing. And you also need to build that confidence in them so that they know that when you put an offer in, if it gets ratified, that you'll actually be able to close on it, because an agent's reputation means a lot to them. They don't want to deal with a buyer who's putting contracts on stuff and they can't move it.
Yeah, that is a big no-no. Oren Reese, come on in. Oh, what kind of documents will be needed to send to the lender in order to speak to them in case of anything, Vince?
Well, most of these just a simple, little third party authorization form is what I call it, or third party consent, where the actual lien holder, gives you the authority to call in and speak to the bank and request documents and to make small changes. But besides that, not a whole lot of lender involvement. It's all subject to deal. Yeah.
All right. I don't want nothing. All right. So third party authorization to release information, Oren. That's it. Shannon
Exactly.
Thomas
Yeah.
Trucking. Where does one get the capital to make the deal? Vince?
I mean, if you don't already have the capital, then and you don't know where to get it from, then automatically your exit strategy is not going to be to keep it if you don't have the money, unless you can go find it. Your exit strategy turns to, instead of keeping it, you're just going to assign your contract over to an investor that does have the capital to catch up, to offer
There you go.
the, whatever offer you're going to make, and then also pay you whatever assignment fee.
There you go.
So like people think of subject to and don't realize that just like a regular cash deal, if the contract is assignable, you can assign that contract. So turn around, if you tell a seller, hey, look, I can offer you $10,000 and I can take over the title, the mortgage stays in your name, and you don't have that $10,000, then you go find you an end buyer where you can shop it to your end buyer and tell them, hey, Mr. End Buyer, for $15,000, I got this subject to deal over here where you can cash flow $800 a month on it, and you get blah blah blah. So in that scenario, you just made 5,000. 10,000 went to the seller like you promised them, and then the other five went to you.
That sounds like kind of like a hybrid between creative financing and wholesaling, Vince.
Exactly, exactly.
Y'all getting this stuff. Vince, you laying it down tonight. So you wrap all the sub two stuff up and then you sell it. Shannon, so that's an option too.
Yeah,
I don't gonna tell you how many of those I've done because we don't keep them all.
right.
Kwame,
Exactly.
how much is a listing agent looking to get paid on the sub two?
It's just like the selling age. Honestly, it's all negotiable, and everybody understands that it's in most cases. Like I've never really had too much um, negative feedback on negotiating commissions with listing and selling agents and listing agents. In most cases, they more than happy to negotiate and compromise because everybody else is. So it's kind of like it's just a little give and take. And again, back to the fact that most of these deals, if title is clear, we close them out in 2 weeks, no headaches. It's not like we got to come out the next day and then have a home inspection, a full blown home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting the termite. I mean, we do get termite, but it's kind of like for our purposes only,
Purposes only. Yeah.
for buyers information purposes only.
Cool.
But it's just a super easy. They don't have to sign no type of paperwork. All day back and forth. So that's cool. They like, hey, look, if I can get a quick $1,500 commission in a week without doing nothing, that's great. On a property that I wasn't getting a whole lot of activity on anyway.
Yeah, free money. It wasn't getting an offer anyway.
Right. Exactly.
That's cool. So the real JC says you can find real investor friendly real estate agents at your local RIA meeting. That's true
There you
too.
go.
There you
Yeah.
go. Kids Health, thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you too. Vince, final thoughts, my friend. Before we get out of here, make sure if you haven't yet joined our email list so you don't miss Jimmy Monday, our appraiser that's coming on. You can ask him any question you want. When was the last time you get to hang out with an appraiser? Vince, are you able to? For me, I'm like trying to find appraisers to talk to is extremely challenging. What do
Bro,
I
they
do?
like ghosts, man. They like ninjas, man. You only heard that they was there. You ain't seen them though.
These fools.
They get in and blend in. When you do see one, you thought they was like a contractor or something. They don't make themselves known because
Why is that, man? What the heck?
that's a
They
very
know.
profession. I think that they kind of like I don't want to talk because I don't know who is who. Because you got the appraiser. A lot of times the appraiser on the seller side, of course they want the appraisal to be as high as possible,
Uh-huh.
and on the buyer they kind of want it to be low. So that appraiser makes a big deal. What he
Man,
does. Yeah.
they hold the industry hostage, don't they? They don't ever want to say nothing. They don't want no, I don't know. They stay
They
low
get
key.
paid. They getting paid no matter what. So it ain't like they commission. All the agents and buyers and sellers is going crazy. Meanwhile, the appraiser the only one that's getting sleep at night.
Man, he ain't thinking about this deal. They
Now
don't think about this stuff.
he ain't thought about the market turning. He can care less.
So you're gonna be able to hang out with he's a senior appraiser too. So make sure you're on our email list so you don't miss that in all of our future trainings. Vince, final thoughts for people that want to do subject to and they do want to deal with a real estate agent.
I mean, I think it's a great option. It's don't cost a whole lot to make offers. It costs you some networking skills, some time, and understanding that you're gonna get a bunch of no's. Before you get that yes, and that's a big part of understanding the tempo of making offers with agents on the MLS is that you got to know that, yeah, even though it may seem like a great deal for you and you may get excited when making an offer, the majority of times you're gonna get a no. So don't let those no's discourage you. I mean, and then at the end of the day, making several offers on the MLS, subject to, you're gonna get a handful of deals and you're gonna make plenty of money per deal, but you're not going to get a ton of deals, if that makes sense. You're gonna get less deals, make more on each deal, whether it's short term or long term. But
Mhm.
it's not gonna be like a thing where you're gonna be writing 5 or 6 contracts a month, right? It's gonna be one contract, 1 or 2 contracts every couple months, 1 or 2 months. But on those contracts, you're gonna be making some pretty big assignment fees, or you're gonna be making yourself some pretty good long term financing. I mean, some long term cash flow, shall I say?
That's deep.
Whether you take on something as a rental property, keep it as a rental property, or you keep it to lease option it out, put it on Airbnb,
Mhm.
seller finance it. You just gonna look up and be like, oh man, I got like 10 properties. After a couple years, if you really market it and do everything the right way.
I'm glad you said that because I think we're looking for instant gram results when it comes to real estate, and that's just not how it worked. That it didn't work like that for me.
Right. Me neither.
This stuff takes time, y'all. My biggest secret, y'all, is time. Warren Buffett, all the major players, man, it's time, right? So the time will work for you as long as you have a plan, right? Don't try to get in there and do a million deals at once. Just try to pick up your next one. And Vince, let me ask you, for you, in your experience, is that how real estate has just worked for you regarding making a bunch of offers and majority of them are not going to work?
Yeah, I mean that's my philosophy. Make a bunch of offers, get all those no's out the way, take those no's on the chin. On the way to a yes. And to just understand that if I'm marketing and making as many offers as I know I need to be, then deals are going to consistently come in like they should be. You know,
I got
um,
to remind myself from time to time, Vince. I'll get lead after lead after lead after lead, trash leads, right? And we'll look at them like, man, we got 10 trash leads. But then I have to say, you know what? That means we're closer to the good lead.
exactly. Yep. Yep. That's why you answer all phone calls. Yep.
You never know. So I've been doing this since '04. So I don't want you guys to get frustrated. Vince's been doing this for over 10 years too. It's just a numbers game.
Yeah.
Don't get frustrated. I tried that for a year. I'm like, dude, here, come talk to me when you had 10 years, you know? So thank you so much,
Yeah.
Vince. Round up homies. If anybody wants to do business with you, Vince, how do they get in touch with you? You're not like a social media guy.
I don't do a whole lot. I mean, I guess I get my phone number out. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Uh, phone number 757 is the area code 288-9225. You can also reach me by email, which is Union Equity Group, everything spelled out, properly, at gmail.com. That's UNIONEQUITYGROUP
Cool. I'll put that in the show notes too, so they can, if anybody wants to get in touch with you. Thank you so much, Vince. Round up homies. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with other people that are trying to understand, because we really just kind of got to the surface, because we didn't get into the closing and all that moving parts and dealing with attorneys and all that. But I really just wanted people to know that you can deal with a realtor when you're dealing with subject to stuff. So,
Yep.
okay, guys, I'll see you Monday, 2 o'clock with my appraiser, Jimmy. And thank you for supporting the channel. Peace.
All right, Chris.
Talk to you, brother.